Okay.
Hey guys, it's Blake Mathews. I'm here with Erik Miller. Welcome to the Formerly Intoxicated Podcast. Shout out to Brock Bevel. He just lit a fire under us and said, you guys got to get this first episode up. So a lesson in self-love. Just love yourself enough to take that first step and just activate whatever the idea is. So that's what we're here to do today. What up, bro?
What's up? We're doing it.
So Formerly Intoxicated was a concept that actually came through you.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that moment? Like, what was that like receiving the idea?
So it's funny, 6 months ago, I was talking to my sister and she was like, hey, what if we came up with a new phrase for sober? What if, and then she spit out like a couple different things. And I got really super offended. I was like, hey, like, you can't change sober. Like, I fought for this, this is something that I went through a lot of ups and downs. I relapsed and felt bad. And then I had to earn this, I'm like, why are you going to take sober away from me? Why is that going to be a bad word? And then I really started thinking about like where she was coming from with that. And there is like a stigma around sober. There's a stigma around at the Phoenix, we used to wear the sober shirts. And some people are like, whoa, that's pretty bold to wear that shirt. And I think some people I don't know, they're nervous to say that out loud or something because of the stigma. And to me, the stigma is like you're lesser than, or you're weak, or you're broken, or like you just can't handle your substances, right? You can't handle liquor, or you couldn't handle the things that you consumed. Yeah. And that's not the case for me, man. Like, I think people that have gone through the things that we went through and came out the other side, I think you're stronger now. And just like kicking around that idea of like, maybe there's a different phrase or maybe there's something that people can kind of attach to that isn't saying I'm sober. I don't know, like at first I was really, really offended by that. But then I like woke up out of a dead sleep and I was like, formerly intoxicated. Like, I don't know. It just came to me out of a dead sleep. And I texted you as soon as I woke up and I was like, hey, maybe we can do something with this. Maybe it's a little bit more edgy. Maybe it can be something that like people can wear with pride. And maybe it's a step in the right direction of overcoming that stigma, and like, so, and it's evolved into a bunch of different things since I woke up and had that thought. Now it's like has taken on the name of your tour, which, dude, I'm super excited to see like what happens with this whole tour and like where that thing goes and where your music takes you. And like the clothing line, the hats, the shirts and stuff, like I'm excited to see what happens with that stuff. Like, I feel like it's a little bit like kind of just a tougher, edgier way for people to kind of represent where they're at in their sobriety journey.
Very cool. Yeah, it's cool to get some of the backstory. I didn't realize Holly planted a seed.
Oh man, yeah, and I gave her so much crap. I was like, hey, you can't, don't try and change the word. That means something.
It's attachment to a core part of our identity, right? Yeah. Like when we experience resistance to change, most often there's some sort of a core memory or underlying value that we've associated, like a deep part of our mind and soul, and sometimes our body. Like on a biological level, that process of getting sober, it was difficult.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons I love Barbell and Phoenix so much. Like when we can provide people opportunities to engage in sober-friendly activities, and all you have to have is that first 48 hours of sobriety. In early sobriety, like 48 hours is a long time. But it's short enough to where you can see the end of the tunnel there. Like, I don't have to be sober my whole life, but I'll just stay clean today and tomorrow, and then I get to come out and enjoy, this experience. So that resistance that we feel to adopting a new idea or shifting into a new concept or belief, I think it's just because it's so intimately tied to our identity. But when we can take a step back and open our minds and be receptive, which in the dream state, our subconscious is the most receptive.
Yeah.
You know, our conscious mind kind of, you know, is at peace and goes beneath the surface. So the subconscious is open and ready to receiving. And you received it in that state of the subconscious and awoke. And it's like you've arrived at this place where that part of your identity is shifting. And I'm right on board with you. I'm super excited to embrace this concept of being formally intoxicated.
Well, and I think about like how you and I met. You know, I was wearing a Rise, Recover, Live shirt, and just that word "recover" on there was enough for you to be like, "Oh, what does your shirt say something about recovery?" I think maybe the apparel will open that door for a lot of other people to be like, "Hey, what does that mean?" And people are like, "Well, I'm sober and like I represent this brand," and maybe that'll link some connections too for people.
Right. It's so much more than a clothing brand.
Yeah.
Right. It's a bridge into connection and opportunity and a whole new life. And Eric's talking about when you and I met, it was at the bottom of Piestewa Peak, and it's 5 a.m. I mean, it was pitch black, you know, like Tink just drugged me out of bed to get to the bottom of this mountain. There's nobody there. Erik is just standing alone. He's like in the shadows, this big, bold figure, you know, and he's wearing this jacket. It's half zipped up. I couldn't even see the whole word.
Yeah.
Like I just kind of saw the OVE, you know, and I just had to come up to you. And that's just like living proof of the fact that, you know, a brand, like if you wear a shirt that says old timer or formerly intoxicated or whatever it is that you're comfortable repping, which we're here to create more opportunities for you to identify with phrases and concepts that you align with. You never know, like that could be the one sign or omen that someone needed to take that next step towards their new life.
Yeah, and I think ultimately I want that brand to be big enough that people understand what that means. You know, and people are like, "Oh, hey, like me too," you know. How long you been sober for, or like how many, you know, how much time you got. And just like also representing the fact that we're not broken. You know, like we're actually healed from some stuff, right? Like we've been through some real things. We struggled with whatever caused that for us, whether it be like trauma or like trying to fit in or whatever it was for you. Like we overcame some things, and now we can be proud of that. And it doesn't take anything away from us. That's something that I really struggled with, especially early on in my sobriety. There were some people that were close to me that were like, they were ashamed of that. You know what I mean? Because it's so big in like my family and all the circles that I ran in before, like especially alcohol, but like all substances. And it's like, if you're not doing the same thing as everyone else, like what's wrong? What happened? Like what are you okay? And like all this stuff, but like I'm really proud of that. You know, I'm really proud that I made those changes, and I'm proud of where I'm at in my recovery, and I'm proud of like the people that I see that are early on that are making the choice. Like, dude, that's an amazing thing. You know, someone that comes in to either a Phoenix event or a Barbell Saves event or a class or whatever. Like, if they got their 48 hours, I'm like hell yeah. Like, dude, that's freaking awesome. Let's go, man. Let's see what you could do.
Right.
You know, let's make some changes and live a healthier life.
Yeah, a lot of people I've noticed are arriving at this space of being formally intoxicated, not because they identified as an addict, but simply as an individual who's choosing to live a sober lifestyle because it's a healthier thing to do.
Yeah.
You know, like, and that's another thing about formally intoxicated that I think is very appealing to a lot of people who are maybe like sober curious or just on this path towards a healthier lifestyle is it's putting this chapter behind us and moving into a new space. And this might be a little bit controversial, what I'm about to say, but a lot of the programs I've been involved with, it's a standard at the beginning of a meeting or before you speak to say, hey, my name's Blake and I'm an addict.
Yep.
And for a long time, I found security in that. It was a part of my identity and I claimed it because I'm not ashamed of it.
Yep.
I really have no issue with the general idea of having been labeled as that at one point in my journey. But now that I'm learning more about the conscious mind and the subconscious mind and the power of our words and the resonance and the frequency of what we plant into our, experience and the way that manifests into our reality, I'd rather move more towards, uplifting words like, trendsetter, game changer, change maker, leader, old timer, like individuals that represent the power of transformation, like claiming that I'm an addict. There's a part of me that, still feels that way. But there's another part of me that I think is calling me into a new chapter where I get to shed that former version of myself. And maybe Formerly Intoxicated is a step towards the right direction. Imagine being at a meeting. Hey, I'm Blake and I'm formerly intoxicated. You know what I mean? Like I was formerly intoxicated.
Yeah. And that's like really, I looked at the rooms the same way. I think there's a lot of good things that happen in the rooms and in 12-step programs. I think there's a lot of people that like, they really resonate with that, with the community there. And then working steps and being honest with themselves and like all the good things that come out of the 12 steps. I think there's a ton of good things there. But for me personally, I'm a lot like you. Like I had to look at that as being a chapter that I closed. You know what I mean? I've moved on from that part of my life. Even like I have to really think about it when people ask me my sobriety date, because I'm like, man, that chapter is closed. You know, I know it was like back in 2005, but it's not something that I hold on to. I'm just like, my life is a book, it's a novel, and those chapters are done and over. And the things that I look forward to are like today. You know, like what am I going to do with today? And then just getting through the stuff that's happening right now is way more important to me than like holding on to those dates. But maybe I'm a little different than other people, but I never got really big into like the chips or like, tattooing my sobriety date on me or like any of that stuff. I'm still proud of the time that I have under my belt, but I don't look at it like that, man. It's just like that part of my life has ended and I've moved on to something better.
Right. Yeah, that's amazing. That's super powerful. I know that we share this belief that recovery is a very individualized and personalized journey.
Sure, yeah.
So we celebrate all pathways to recovery, right? In our circles, that's underlying like fundamental core belief. Whatever's working for you, keep doing it. We're here to be a supplement to support that. And this tour that we're working on and just the overall brand with Sober House Records and Formerly Intoxicated, it's a missing component of the puzzle. Yep. Because for me personally, I always say it, when I was getting clean, there weren't any safe and sober spaces for me to enjoy arts and entertainment. And that led me to sacrificing my love and passion for arts and entertainment entirely, because it was so intimately connected to. We got a little kitty in the frame.
We got a visitor. What up?
So, we're on a mission to prevent mental illness and addiction through arts and entertainment. And this tour, starting off with the kickoff show, January 23rd, 2024 at Wasted Grain in Old Town Scottsdale. It's just going to be an amazing, commencement to a new chapter where sober entertainment is a part of the mainstream. we create those safe and sober spaces at festivals and clubs and, venues. And I'm really, really excited to be on this journey with you, bro.
Yeah. And like part of the reason why I love the Phoenix so much and I love working there and being a part of that team was they inspire you to find your tribe, right? To find your passion, find your thing that you do, whether it's like hiking a mountain, whether it's getting in a boxing gym, um, riding a mountain bike, whatever your thing is, CrossFit, yoga, they inspire people to like try those different things and then dig in. Like find your people, find the thing that you're passionate about, find what motivates you, and the thing that you can consistently return to and have a family there. Like that is spot on. Like I totally believe in that. And what you bring is the music element of that. Like maybe your thing isn't all of those things. Maybe you're not like athletically inclined, but maybe you're talented and you just don't know it yet. And you need that opportunity for someone to hand you a microphone and see what happens. Or you need that chance to like see if you can play an instrument or to create, like whatever that is. I want people to find that. And that's what I love about Sober House Records and like what you do is you're creating a pathway for people to either like enjoy your music, resonate with your lyrics, or like to be inspired to create their own, like like songwriting classes. I've seen you guys do that stuff, and the opportunity that people get to create and to like express themselves through music is amazing. And that we should be pushing that just as much as we're pushing yoga and CrossFit. So I cannot wait to see what comes from this, dude, and to see like the people that get inspired to write and create from seeing you guys perform. That's why I want to be a part of it. I want to see what comes of this.
Well, it's so much bigger than any one particular individual.
Yeah.
Like I truly believe that, Tinkahantas and we're the guinea pigs. We're going to build the model around what does it mean to produce and promote a sober entertainment, recording artist, singer, songwriter, whatever it is. And it takes a team. We're going to need booking agents. We're going to need managers. We're going to need, attorneys. We're going to need a production team to do the music videos. Shout out Astro Creative.
Yeah.
We're going to need all of these moving pieces, and then fans as well who are on this path towards, a life of recovery, whatever that means for you. All of these pieces of the puzzle are equally as important. And right now, where we're at with Unbury Your Burdens, the album that we just put out, the freestyle mixtapes that we got coming up for Tinkahantas, the tour, like this is just the inception stage. And one thing that I really am being called to learn is how to include other people in the process of what I'm doing. Because I think for a long time I've felt that I needed to do it alone. Like whatever it is that I desire to do, I just take on all the weight and all the responsibility because I never really learned to ask for help. And earlier on in my journey, there were a couple moments that I did reach out for help or collaboration or support. And in that vulnerable place of, reaching out for another human's support, I was told no, or I was, kind of redirected more towards needing to be more independent. And I'm unlearning those patterns of behavior and relearning more of a collaborative, inclusive mindset. So this process of building out the tour and the team, and like just the fact that Suzette has hopped on board and is telling me like drop the flyers, like we have a promo team, like that feels so foreign to me. It's almost like the shift from sober to formerly intoxicated, right? Like there's this core part of my identity that believes, and I still want to be on the ground, guerrilla type of, in the weeds with everybody. I've heard artists talk about how, they've got 100, 150, union members of like a local crew that build their stage, right? You've built stages for...
Yeah, I built a stage for Maroon 5 at the Super Bowl one year, Mary J. Blige.
So you got all hands on deck there,
Yeah.
But I've heard stories about artists going down to the platform of the stadium and just, at least like putting a little bit of elbow grease into it and showing face and shaking hands and thanking the crew. Like, thank you guys. This would not be possible without you.
Yeah.
So just kind of putting out into the universe that, whether you're someone that's involved in bringing the show to life, being a promoter, being an ambassador, or even just being like a fan or a music lover, these are all equally important parts of the bigger picture of starting a movement, like Formerly Intoxicated.
Yeah, there's so many different elements that people can get involved in, like, the album art, the videos, you're right, the fans. Like, the show is nothing unless you have fans there. And when you start having fans there that like know your lyrics and they're singing along with your songs, dude, and it makes that experience so much bigger and so much better. Like, when you were on stage at the spot, I was looking around and there was like 10 or 15 people that knew your lyrics, that were like, they were singing along with you while you were on stage. And I'm like, that's power right there. Like, these people, instead of buying into the lyrics of like death and addiction and substances and stuff, they're following along with your lyrics of positivity and change, and like leveling up and being healthier. That to me is what's powerful about this whole entire tour that you guys are putting together. As people start understanding what your music is about and start like, singing along and like believing the lyrics, it's going to inspire. It's going to like just promote change and healthier lives for people, man. I'm excited to see what happens there.
Amazing. Yeah, that's beautiful. On that note, can I pull a track up? I'd love to go line by line even. Like, let's just play the track and listen to it. I made this track, Inner Critic. Obviously, you've heard it a couple times.
Yep.
We just hopped in the ice bath the other day to this track. And I'd love to play the track and then pull the lyrics up and see, where it is that you might relate to or get your perspective on some of the lyrics.
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool.
Also, it was really cool how fitting it was when we were listening to this and cold plunging at the same time. Like, it was deep. It was nice to get into.
It was definitely deep.
Yeah.
I could use another cold plunge. As much as like my mind tells me I don't want to, I think that's even more of a reason to do so.
Yeah, that's coming soon too, dude. Like, that's in the works. We're trying to get that here locally somewhere with like a nice forge. So we're working on a couple different opportunities there to have that be a more regular thing for our community.
Love it. Okay.
This is kind of on the fly.
Yeah, this is on the fly. We did not plan for this, so we're gonna pull the session up and we'll go for it. Thank you for your patience.
No worries. I think that's how the best things happen. And again, shout out to Brock for kind of like leading us and giving us some good pointers on how to do this.
Yep.
Like, unscripted, just having a conversation, just talking about the things that come up, I think is the right way to do this, and the right way to like just kind of settle into what we want to talk about and like what people might resonate with.
Absolutely. And a big motivating force or like realization that I'm having too is whatever it is that you want to do, whatever gift or vision or intuition that you've been, that you've received, whether it's waking up out of a dream and having an idea, or maybe you're just on a walk or you're riding your motorcycle or whatever, why wait? Like, today's the day to put that in motion. Even if it's as simple of a step as like calling a friend or texting the friend, hey, what do you think of Formerly Intoxicated? You could have just as easily woke up from that dream, turned back over, went to sleep, and completely forgot about the fact that you received that.
Yeah.
How many times have we woken up from a dream with an amazing idea or like realization that was, came to the surface of our subconscious through sleeping, and we've just ignored it?
Yeah.
But you chose to turn over and shoot me that text, and look at what it's grown into. Oh my God,
All right.
dude. Okay, cool. So this is inner critic.
I don't really even know if I could trust you. You don't even write, you ain't even meditated in a minute. I'ma have to go to battle with my inner critic. I've been getting sick of thinking, but I think I better think it through before I go and blow up everything I think I thought I wanted. Wait, I think I'm overthinking, and it's only been a half a minute since I had this thought. Fuck, you're right where you are, stuck. Don't run from the dark, yeah. I need a hug, I can't wake up. They say they want what I got, but what if I'm not who they thought that I was? I don't think that I'm the only one that's dealing with the imposter syndrome. My God, freedom all. Whoa. Formerly intoxicated, I was like a double agent, but I found a better way to elevate and leverage. I've been tuning to the evidence of my heart, my soul, everybody. I could tell if you really bout it. I personified the inner enemy, I outwitted the devil, now I'm in beast mode. Oh, this is my reality, I'm in beast mode. Oh, this is my reality, I'm in beast mode. Man, it's that type of record that gon' help me fight for my head. It means the world to me that fans will learn the lyrics to this. That kind of dedicated energy is keeping me fit. I got to keep this kind of music in my ears. It's bigger than me. With healing triggers and breathing deeply. This that shadow work that give your life a deeper meaning. I'm preaching. I wouldn't be the man I am without my woes. But I know my people need me. Got to turn the page and activate my beast mode. They say the proof is in the pudding. What you doing when no one's looking? Get a sneak at the show. Yeah, this the life we really live. The future generation really, really needs you to go. Beast mode. Beast mode. Beast mode.
Yeah, man, so good. I love seeing your music just like continue to elevate. It just gets better every song that you come out with, man.
Well,
So good.
Almost 2 years ago, when you had started the coffee social and we just started hanging around, bro, like you saw the vision.
Yeah.
And that just goes to show that, like, when you see the light in someone, all it takes is a little bit of extra encouragement. Like, give that encouragement to the person who needs it. When you see that someone has a talent, or you see that someone has a spark, or even something as simple as an interest, like, invite them to participate. You told us, like, keep coming back, dude.
Yeah.
Keep doing what you're doing. Like,
Yeah.
keep making your music. And there were days where I was like down and out, ready to quit, and just knowing that you believed in it, and having, somebody else that was willing to believe in me when I didn't even believe in myself, it changed everything, bro. Yeah, it changed everything. Can I walk you through some of these lyrics?
Yeah. Can I tell you what like jumped out
Yeah, what's
right away?
Yeah.
So I've had some like really cool conversations on Payastoa Peak, man. Like that mountain, for some reason, there's just like magic that happens there. Like people gravitate to you when you're there. It's like the things that we talk about while we're hiking on that mountain have manifested. Um, and I had this conversation walking up that mountain with this dude Michael, who is like has big ambitions to be an ultra runner, and he was like, "Yo, people in recovery, people that have overcome like substance use disorder, people that have like kicked, like they battled their demons and won, they have superpowers. They can go deeper into that beast mode than anybody else. So when you're like, I outwitted the devil and I'm in beast mode, like that is so true of people in recovery. Like we have another gear. We have like a higher pain tolerance. We have like a deeper threshold for like pushing through things because we have pushed through our addictions. And like I see that in like really high level athletes that have overcome addiction, like ultra runners, like people that can endure for long periods of time. Like they have endured the pain that comes from that addiction or their trauma or whatever. And like when they turn it around and they put it into something positive, that like that beast mode comes out. And it's cool to see that. And like whatever that is, if you're putting that into your music, or you're putting it into CrossFit, or you're putting it into artwork, or whatever your passion is, you have like something deeper inside of you that like can push you farther than people that haven't experienced that. So that's what jumps out at me in the lyrics of that song, man. And like I would love to hear where that came from inside of you, like where that part of the song came from.
You know, it's interesting when I'm recording music, sometimes the phonetics of the lyrics come before the actual concept.
Okay.
So I would now be
Yeah.
oh
Right.
And then little by little the lyrics just begin to reveal themselves, you
Okay.
know? Like you have to allow yourself to be silly enough
Yeah.
and let your guard down to just talk gibberish.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
now I'm like outwitting the, and then all of a sudden Napoleon Hill's book, Outwitting the Devil, is like sitting on the table. I'm like, outwitting the devil. Like that's the lyric.
Yeah.
So, you know, beast mode, I actually wrote this song when I was in I wrote this song when I was in a pretty well. Actually, the writing and recording process of this song has actually been like tremendously long. Like I first started this song in March of 2022. So the whole front half of the song, I don't really even know if I can trust you. You don't even write. You ain't even meditated in a minute, right? Like that's my inner critic telling me like, I can't trust myself if I'm not following through on the commitments of self-care, walking, reaching out to friends, like doing the things that I need to do to strengthen my recovery. Those are the things that build trust within myself, right? And the inner critic chats back when I'm not doing those things. Like that's an opportunity for the critic within my own mind to take advantage of those moments of weakness, of me not following through on my discipline. So that whole front half, I don't really even know if I can trust you. You don't even write. You ain't even meditated in a minute. I'm going to have to go to battle with my inner critic. I've been getting sick of thinking. So now I'm talking from my own perspective, right? I've been getting sick of thinking, but I think I better think it through before I go and blow up everything I think I thought I wanted. Wait, I think I'm overthinking, and it's only been a half a minute since I had this thought. That whole chapter of my journey was really dark, you know, and I got it out on paper. And, you know, when I'm going through something that's like really heavy, if I can just channel it into a journal or a song or even a conversation, you know, if I'm able to just reach out to someone and allow that energy to move through me and out into the universe rather than keeping it trapped inside, usually that's the key to me moving forward into like a lighter vibration in space.
Yeah. And I think that's what we were talking about with the whole formerly intoxicated thing is like overcoming that stigma, because that is part of like what we tell ourselves. Like being your own worst critic, whether you're an athlete or an artist or like whatever it is, it's what you tell yourself before you do those things or while you're in it. For me, like my thing is CrossFit. And if I tell myself, man, I can't do this, there's no way I'm going to be able to get through this workout, or there's no way I'm going to be able to learn this new movement or whatever it is, I'm already done. You know, and I think it's the same thing for music. If you're like, start telling yourself like, man, I'm probably not that good, or like people probably aren't going to resonate with this, or you start buying into the negative, like you're already done. You know, like you have to be able to like encourage yourself. You got to be able to like speak those things into existence that you want to do, and you got to believe in yourself. You know, like I think that's the key for all of this, for recovery, for like creating, for being an athlete, for like being part of the community. If you don't believe in yourself, what are you doing? You know, so you gotta like turn the volume down on that inner critic.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And for me, like, actually, I want to briefly talk about this Outwitting the Devil book.
Yeah.
So Napoleon Hill wrote Think and Grow Rich. You know Think and Grow Rich?
Yeah.
So that's like the most successful personal development book that's ever been written. And a year or two before he wrote Think and Grow Rich, he wrote this book, Outwitting the Devil. But it was such a taboo idea that it wasn't released until decades later. I think it was released after he had passed by the Napoleon Hill Foundation. And the book is essentially an interview between him and the devil. So he paints this picture where the devil is on the stand, and the devil absolutely has to tell the truth about any question that he asks. And he asks all sorts of questions like, how do you manipulate the minds of the people that you take control over? And one of the things that the devil, or the personified version of darkness, for me, that's the way I see this character, right? Sometimes personifying the inner enemy, it gives us a better way to see it and relate to it, and rather than it just being this mystifying force. But point being, he says that that darkness, that force of darkness, it occupies the parts of it occupies the parts of our mind that we're not using. So if we live in an active state of conscious creation, connection, you know, moving in the world, moving our bodies, just getting up and doing something, like it doesn't matter what you do. As long as it's not hurting you or hurting others, just get out there and start doing something. Those are the spaces and places when you move yourself into that where the light starts to shine. Because if we sit idle, like that's when those thoughts start to manifest. So beast mode came from me just realizing, okay, it's time to elevate. It's time to level up. It's time to get up out of my seat and like turn the volume up and just jump, you know? Which is what I'm really excited to get people to do at the show, bro. Like, don't jump for me, you know, jump for you. This is for you.
Yeah. Can we talk more about the show? Can we talk more about like what that's going to look like? Because I think you have the clearest vision, and like you put the work into like creating this thing. I just want to hear like your take on it, and I want to share in the podcast like what that is. Like, what do you see? What's it going to look like on Tuesday on the 23rd, man?
It's going to be amazing. So yeah, the Formerly Intoxicated Recovery Tour kickoff show, Tuesday, January 23rd, 2024. Doors are opening at 4 p.m. So we're going to still have some sunlight, you know?
And it's at Wasted Grain in Old Town Scottsdale. talk a little bit about that, man. Like, what does it mean to you for it to be at Wasted Grain?
So Wasted Grain is a nightclub, Friday through Monday or every other day of the week, aside from Monday and Tuesday, they are turning this place up. Like, we spoke with the general manager. I mean, they make hundreds of thousands of dollars on alcohol sales every weekend. It's insane. Like, that industry, it baffles my mind. Point being, more than a decade ago, I performed at Wasted Grain, and I was completely plastered. It was for a show, a show called Bass Wednesdays. I DJ'd in a duo that I was in, and now full circle, we're being provided with the opportunity to curate a entertainment experience that for music and mental health in a sober space. So it means a lot. It's very full circle to me. It's going to be great, dude. So doors are at 4. There's a mental health panel from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. featuring Bryce the Third, who's the facilitator coming into Arizona from Detroit. And then we've got Max Hall, former NFL Cardinals quarterback. We got Brock Bevel, former cop. Him and Max founded Victory Recovery. Shout out Victory Recovery and the Fentanyl Project. Then we got Rob Best on the panel, founder of the Barbell Saves Project. We got Erik Hag coming out as well, former NFL safety. We got Wolf Trigo, financial strategist, and then we've got myself on the panel. So we're just going to have a conversation about music and mental health and connection and the importance of, destigmatizing these ideas. People are going to be able to witness this live podcast being shot by Ragtown Media. How often do you get to be in the room with a couple former NFL players and people from all these different industries and just listen to them talk about their inner world? And
yeah, and more than that, like people that are like affecting real change in the community, like they're doing the work. They're really like putting the time in and helping people. And I love seeing people pull people up. Talk about the artists, because I'm excited, man, to see all these people on stage. Talk about that a little bit. We know we got you, of course. We know Tinkahantis is going to open it up for us, but like, talk about the other artists that we're bringing out.
Absolutely, yeah. So like you said, Tink is opening the show with some ethereal, angelic, poems and prayers, essentially.
Which I don't know. I was talking to Rob Best about this. I don't know that there's anyone else doing what she does in the world right now. Like, she basically freestyles her vocals over beats. Like, I know rappers do that and like lyricists do that, but I've never heard of anyone doing what she does.
If you listen to Tinkahantis' music, you can't help but elevate your vibration. Like, whether you like it or not, you might just start levitating in your chair. Like, right. There's such high vibrational messages, and the music is so uplifting and honest that it just guides you back to the truth. So that's what I love about her music. She's opening the show at 6 p.m. After that, we got Mac, Big Bro Mac. He's coming with some really, really fire, sobriety / recovery based hip hop. Mac has overcome opioid addiction and all sorts of other things, and it's just threaded into his music. So that's going to be really inspiring for anybody who's facing, or in the grip of that type of an addiction. After Mac, we've got Part of God. Jordan.
Yeah.
Oh man, he's such a good performer. His composure and just his ability to calmly and confidently like direct and engage the crowd it's amazing. We saw him perform at the Sober House album release party.
Yeah.
And I immediately knew like, okay, he's, we got to have him back.
Yeah. Just like pure talent too. Like his voice is amazing.
Raw talent. Yeah. Part of God. After Part of God, we've got Bryce. Bryce is going to do a couple tracks as well. Nice. And then we're doing a Blake Mathews and Friends set.
Okay.
So around 8 p.m., we're doing a collaborative set with all of the artists who have been a part of the label that I've co-produced for. So we've got Ramopolis Pleasant. He's going to be doing a song called We Need a Little Magic. Dude, Mop is such a vibe.
Yeah, I know.
So he was behind bars like 20 plus years ago, and Magic Johnson was announcing that he had gotten AIDS. And that night he went in his cell and wrote this song. And he's just held on to this song ever since. And we cut it like a few weeks ago. So he's going to be performing this live on stage for the first time.
Dude, and he's such a character, man. Like, I got a chance to have a couple deep conversations with him. Just an amazing light, just amazing human. So I cannot wait to hear some of his music, dude. I know it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got Ramopolis Pleasant. We got Honcho Did It.
Yeah.
Javante. Yeah, dude.
He always brings the energy. Like, he pumps people up when he's on stage, dude. So I'm excited for that.
He does, yeah. He's doing a track called Only God Knows, which we actually cut inside New Freedom.
Okay.
When I used to teach the audio production class in there. He just showed up to the first class. He was like, "There's something different about you, bro." I was like, "Oh, okay." Like, "Hey, nice to meet you." And he's like, "I'm going to stick around." And that's something I'm always curious to see is like, I always tell Hannah, like, we'll know who's meant to be a part of this movement. We'll just see who sticks around. Yeah. And JV is the type of person that just kept showing up. He's like super, super platinum, solid, grounded in the principles. So that's going to be really cool.
And just super positive too. Yep. Like, everything that he speaks is like positivity and good energy. And like, he knows where he's going. And yeah, that's going to be amazing.
Absolutely. And then, of course, we got Mercury Sterling.
Oh, my God, dude. The only time I've ever seen Mercury perform live, dude, Mark, was in a room the size of this with, like, a piano right there and stuff. And I was like, I need to see this kid on stage, dude, because he's got so much energy. He's so talented. He's just a natural performer. So I'm excited to see him, like, be on a legit stage in front of some people that are, like, excited, man. It's gonna be so cool.
I got chills. Yeah, Merc was born for the stage. Yeah, I believe that all the artists we're working with have their own unique superpowers, right? We talked about making it through those deeper and darker times. It cultivates that inner superpower, and I want to put people in a position to embody and leverage their superpower. Merc is born for the stage, natural performer, and he's going to elevate the production value of the experience like tenfold.
Yeah, for sure.
So we got Merc, and then we've also got, who am I missing? We got Ramopolis Pleasant, Honcho Did It, Mercury Sterling. We got Blue Nose, who's a childhood friend of mine.
Okay.
Dude.
He's going to be on stage with you too?
Bro.
Okay.
Listen to this. Listen to just listen to this, like, just a slight preview.
Okay.
Don't ask me what I'm anxious about, cause it's nothing. I stay posted, but my brain keeps running. Fabrication of my next blue episode. Hesitant, dancing with the elephant in the room. Mates in my brain now, but they ain't even helping with the ramp. Wow. We playing monkey in the middle, making it official. Unstable psyche is a part of my credentials.
He says unstable psyche is a part of my credentials. That's the thing that's so different about this industry and this space, bro. The darker and more, like, traumatic of a space you've been through, the more qualified you are to serve and transform the lives of others. Yeah. There's no other industry like that.
Yeah, the music, like, and we've talked about this, like, when you've been through something real and then you express that through song, like, it gives it soul. It gives it, like, substance, and that's where, like, the greatest music comes from that. All right, so let's say you're crazy and you don't appreciate any of that music that we've got on stage. What's happening upstairs? Talk about that. Talk about Sober AF and what they got going on in the ski lodge.
Yeah, absolutely. So Duke from Sober AF Entertainment is flying out from Colorado to facilitate a silent disco in the ski lounge. So there's a separate VIP lounge upstairs at Wasted Grain. Imagine walking into a room, there's a private DJ, there's a separate mocktail bar, there's amazing comfortable couches, couple TV screens, and then everybody's just wearing these silent disco headsets. And they're bumping along to the DJ, but then as soon as you take the headsets off, it's just quiet.
Right.
So the idea is that if you want to retreat from, the mayhem of this awesome, recovery-based show, you just want to get a little bit of fresh air and kind of wind down, you can go up into the VIP ski lodge and just kick it.
Yeah, or if it's too much for you, like if there's a bunch of people around, I know when I was like early in my recovery, I had moments where I got overwhelmed by there being too many moving things around me, too many people. I love that we have this option that people can go upstairs and get away from it. For me, like part of what makes music great too is like I can put on headphones and I can be in my own space if I want, or like I can look around and see the people that are on my channel and I can vibe with them over the music that we're listening to. I love that we have this option for people too.
Me too. Yeah, definitely shout out Sober AF Entertainment. They are inviting Sober House Records to travel with them to a number of more mainstream festivals this year, which is amazing. So I'm going to keep you guys updated on like what opportunities are available for that as far as like comp tickets to just go create safe and sober spaces at festivals. So that's what we're doing in the ski lodge. Additionally, so that people are going to enter from the south side of the building,
like the courtyard.
Yeah, the courtyard. So they're going to come through under the Phoenix tent. Shout out to phoenix.org. They're immediately going to see the Barbell Saves tent. They're going to see the Taros tent. Taros is sponsoring the event, which is
amazing.
Huge.
Yeah.
And then, who else is on board? I should just shout out the sponsors real quick.
Yeah. I think too, like it's important to note like what's happening with the money when people purchase tickets or they buy a raffle ticket or they purchase some of the swag that we've got. Talk about what's happening with that, because my understanding is like it's basically a donation that's going to go into our community and help like support recovery. So talk about what we got there.
Yeah, absolutely. So 100% of the money that is being generated from this show is going back into creating more safe and sober and friendly spaces for the community to engage in arts and entertainment.
I love it.
And we've been strongly encouraged to incorporate as a nonprofit just because that's going to provide us more opportunities to do more for the community.
A ticket is not just purchasing an experience. It's not just buying into the show. Like you're actually donating to the recovery community.
Yeah, it's going to enable us to purchasing VIP tickets or purchasing merch or even just listening to the music, like being a part of spreading this music and this message. It's going to enable our team and our community to be able to replicate this in other markets. Yeah. So please come out to the show. If you're not able to make it in person, don't worry. The mental health panel is going to be live streamed via the phoenix.org app, courtesy of Ragtown Media. We're so excited and grateful to be launching the Formerly Intoxicated Recovery Tour, launching the brand, launching the podcast, and let us know whatever we can do to support. If you have ideas on how we could improve the experience or topics that you want us to discuss or address, Erik and I are going to be getting this podcast going just so we can spread the music, spread the message, and play our part in creating opportunities for you guys to connect with things that are meaningful in your life. So with that, thank you for listening to the first episode of the Formerly Intoxicated Podcast.
Yeah, we did it.
We're out.
We did it. We're out.
Later.